You're not going to charge us more, are you? It's pandemonium here at Piney Grove. We got so much going on today. We got brick going up along the bottom there. And I don't know what else, to be honest with you, because we just got here on site. These folks have already started working early this morning. So let's see what they're doing. We'll get some close-ups and just kind of capture the action. So we're talking with the builder now. They took all these bricks here on the bottom and they cut them this way to get the first course of brick level to lay the rest of them. But the problem is that's ugly. So I think they got to redo all that. So you can see there, the bricks are on the edge and those are the way they're supposed to be, which is this way. These guys are high speed, low drag, so they've got a lot of brick done early this morning before the general contractor got here. So he's on the horn right now with the bricklayer saying they got to fix a lot of those. And then we are also, we wanted what's called a smear on the mortar, and they did more of a really clean mortar joint. So let's look at that real quick and show you what we wanted versus what they did. And this is just all part of the building process. So this is kind of the finished product. You can see that the mortar is tooled in such a way so that it's, I guess, concave, and it's pushed in there. It's really clean. It's almost like a grout line. But that's not the look we were going for. The look we were going for was what's called a smear. And so we took some wet mortar here. We just grabbed it here with our hands and put it up there and smeared it. And that's more the look that we want. I guess you can call it a sloppy look, but it's like trying to imitate that you're using older bricks and you got to fill in the gaps with more mortar rather than, you know, perfectly square modern bricks. Gonna mix up some mortar using our water hydrant over there. Got the sand and then our ivory mortar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 2 bags of mortar. Got about 4 gallons of water. Another bag of mortar. Rest of the water from that bucket, and then we still have water left in this bucket. Looks like we're gonna put a little bit more sand in there. And that's how you make mortar for bricks. Now let's go over here and see what they got done since they had to change that bottom row. Now this time you can see the bricks are facing out instead of the holes facing out. This is the septic clean out. So you notice him taking the edge of his trowel there and kind of knocking off the corner of the brick. And in order to get the look we want, we need the mortar line to be like wider and more jagged or ragged. And these bricks are perfectly straight, so he's just gonna chip them before he puts them. Before he lays the brick, he'll chip off edges and then the mortar line will look a little rougher. So they put a string line there and they just make sure the top of the brick is even with that string line. And then you have some space between the brick and the concrete, and that's just so that the wall can breathe. So when the siding goes on here, any moisture can go down there. Now we actually did a mock-up on our mortar because they didn't get it right the first time. Actually, they got it very right. They just didn't get it the way we wanted it, so we did a little mock-up over here. So earlier we showed you real clean grout or mortar lines, and we want more of this kind of rough looking mortar line. So they'll put extra mortar in there, then they'll take a broom and brush that off, and that's what it'll end up looking like. So what that's called is a smear line. So instead of having perfectly clean lines, you have a little bit of smear of mortar, and it just makes it look older. It just doesn't look as modern, and that's the look we're going for with this farmhouse. All right, we're starting to lay the second course here. It's got a string line set up there, taps it in place, grabs another one. That's so cool how he takes mortar on his trowel, sets the brick, and then like in one motion, he takes the extra mortar, puts it on the end so he can line it up for the next brick. We did a lot of extras for this house in order for that brickwork to be like that, because initially the house foundation wasn't up high enough and it wasn't gonna show enough brick. It was probably only gonna show 2 bricks, maybe 3 at the most, and we actually raised the whole house foundation a 2x6, so 5.5 inches, and then I came in here with the tractor and cut down all of the extra dirt and stuff that had been pulled up out of the footers. so that we could see more brick, and that's going to be our landscaping, is going to be from the brick out. We're not going to cover up any of that brick. And the way that we wanted it to look, you can see the red line is actually up on the house wrap, so that's actually going to go above the foundation. But we had to do that in order to be able to get a course of brick here along the front. Otherwise, the brick would have ended here and the porch wouldn't have had any brick on it. We had to do all those adjustments because we wanted more brick to show. And so adding to the foundation, which added to the cost of the amount of concrete, and also this is adding to the cost because we're having 1 or 2 more bricks than was originally budgeted. So when I was younger, when things weren't the way I wanted them, I probably defaulted to, I don't know, a not pleasant mode too quickly. So now I'm older, a little more calm, I'm on some meds, and when we saw that it was wrong, I didn't lose my cool. We got a hold of the general contractor, and he got here, and he lost his cool because he told them exactly how we wanted it, and it wasn't the way we wanted it. So it did get relayed to the workers. It wasn't the workers' fault. They did a good job. They just didn't do the job we wanted. So he was hitting up the bricklayer boss who wasn't on site, and he was giving him some static about it. And the guy was calm, and he said, look, man, it's already done. It's wrong. We'll fix it. No sense getting mad about it. And I guess that was a good lesson for me because I was pretty steaming about it. Deb was pretty steaming about it. She didn't say anything to anyone but me, but she was like, you know, this is a custom build. We shouldn't have to discover this stuff, but that's just the way it goes. You're not going to get the general contractor on site every minute that the workers are here. He's got other houses that he's building. He's got a family. He doesn't live here. It takes some time to commute here, and he just didn't get here till late. So because of that, it wasn't caught until after there was a significant amount of redo to do. And we've just learned that that's the way it is, and we can get stressed out about it. We can get mad about it. We can say, that's not what we're paying you for to get it wrong. But at the end of the day, like the bricklayer foreman said, it's wrong. Why are you mad about it? We'll fix it. All right, Deb came out here and met with the bricklayers because we wanted to make sure that we're getting the mortar lines the way that we wanted them. And I'll show you what we got. They're doing a real good job. They're starting to put the top bricks on now, but you'll see we have a much more irregular mortar joint now. It's not perfect, and it looks, for lack of a better term, it just looks a little sloppy, and that's what we wanted. So we didn't want perfectly uniform lines here. We had real thin mortar lines. We wanted thick mortar lines, a little sloppy, make it look like an older brick, maybe a reused brick, and that's the effect we wanted, or the look that we wanted, and the guys were able to achieve that. So he's got this little block of wood that holds his string on, and he's got the block here. He's got the block down on the other end, and that'll give him the top of the string is how high this brick will be all the way down there. That way the bricks stay even on the top, and you just adjust it by the amount of mortar you put in there. So we're showing 5 bricks there, plus the rolled edge, or whatever that top edge is called, or the split bricks. We found it's real hard to translate like what we want, despite the fact we have architectural drawings and there's no 3D modeling or any color drawings, but we have a model house that we've been keep referring to. It's a house that we've driven by for a couple years now. And they got chimneys and stuff like that, but as far as the brickwork and the siding and roof color and everything, it's exactly what we want. I've driven by that house 6 or 8 times and taken pictures out the window of my vehicle. Look who I found. Miss Piney Grove. She's been inside editing, so we're gonna go take a look at the brick. I think she's gonna be pleased with what she sees.
Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Look at that. I'm so glad that we didn't do the traditional cookie cutter, perfect brick. And I know that sounds funny, but that looks so nice. Wow. So building a house, there's just way too many decisions. And we've kind of shared that with you through this whole process. But you didn't think brick would be that much of a decision, right? You pick a brick, you like it, it's all cool. But then once you pick a brick, you pick a finish if you want something a little bit differently. But I'm really, really glad that we went with a little bit of a different finish and not the cookie cutter finish, because it looks truly amazing. Hard working, I'm telling you, all of these men are so hard working. Every crew that we've had has just been, I mean, nose to the grindstone the entire time, and bless these guys' hearts. They got double efforts, but still working hard. Perfection is overrated. I like it's not perfect.
All right, we're back at it, or I should say they are back at it, and it's a chilly morning. We woke up this morning, it was 40 degrees. So the back of the bedroom's pretty much done. The back of the garage still needs the brick on top put on there, but we're really liking that mortar. This wall here, putting the bricks on top. And they're starting the bricks across the front of the porch. Show me how it's done, man. He said he's here and he's ready to show me how bricks are laid, so let's let him put on a show. Chips off a little bit of it. All right, let's see if we get the spacing right. See if we can get a full brick in there. And just like that, that row is in. The bricks are raised up above the foundation, and this is the reason, so that we could have some bricks that go along the front porch here. If we didn't raise them there, then the bricks would just end and we wouldn't have any bricks going along where the porch meets the house. Got another delivery. We got some soffit, and we also have some pine straw. And the reason for the pine straw is where the brick is, or where the bricks are, when you get water runoff from the roof, if it splashes down and hits that dirt along the brick, it'll throw up that red clay color up on the bricks, and that'll stain it for life. So we're going to put pine straw around after the bricks are done before the next rain. And the soffit, they originally delivered, I think, 12-inch soffit, but our soffits are 14-inch, so that's a new soffit delivery. And while he's here, we're going to ask him to move this hardy board. And you may have seen this hardy board before in one of our videos where we actually did a lift test on the Kubota. But I don't want to lift this and put it over by the house. This was left over from another house build, and that board is about $10 a piece. And there's probably 30 boards there, so there's a significant amount of money there that we can save, so that will go in our house. But I don't want to lift it with my tractor because my forks aren't very wide. And when I lift it with narrow forks, it tends to flex in the center, and it's concrete board, and I don't want to flex it and then have weak spots in the center of the board when it goes up on the house. Deb talks about making decisions. We just had to make one regarding the width of our columns. So when you do these columns on your porch, you want to cover the 6x6 treated wood material. You want to cover that to make it look better. And then you got to make a decision on how wide you want that column to be. So they did a little mock-up here. We're going to go with 18-inch. So we'll put 18-inch column around there, and it'll actually fall over a little bit onto the brick that'll go around the edge. And those are things you just got to make on the fly. We stood back, we stood up the brick, and we looked at it and just decided that was the best look. And then you also got to figure out how high you want the brick to go, because above the brick is going to be, you know, some kind of ornate wood or something. And so what we decided is 32 inches high for the column will be brick, and then the rest of it will be wood. So it'll be brick up to about 32 inches, and then the rest of it will be a white trim. So now that we've talked about it a lot in this video, leave your preference down below on the mortar on the brick. Do you like the more modern, tooled, very perfect mortar lines, or do you like what we've gone with? But we just really are happy we went with this type of mortar finish. It just makes the house different. It makes it different from all the cookie cutter houses that are out there with the perfect mortar lines.
If you've watched the video, you know that this was a multi-step process because they had to redo it. But this is pretty much the final product down here. So we wanted this smear, and they did a great job with it. We're real pleased with how it came out. Now, I say it's pretty much the final product, but it's not done. We've got 2 of our 5 columns started, and this is kind of what it'll look like. But all 4 of these columns will be bricked, as will the column coming out of the mudroom, under the mudroom stoop. They ran out of mortar, which I guess is of no surprise since they had to redo probably 45–50% of it, so they ran out of mortar, so they stopped. But all 4 of these columns will be bricked, and then coming off here, we'll have a step, and then we'll have a swoopy stoop, for lack of a better term. We'll have a step up, it will be in a semicircle. That will all get done, again, when they come back to do the columns, and then the stoops and step will be done when the house is done. They don't want to track it up with sheetrock mud.
So leave a comment down below. Do you know what she said or what she meant when she said swoopy swoop? Because I don't.
I said swoopy stoop. I said
swoopy stoop.
It'll be a
stay tuned for further videos, because you're going to find out, as I will, what a swoopy stoop is. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video showing a little bit of the brickwork. There's still a lot more to go on this house. I think coming up this week, it's going to be siding and soffit and stuff. A lot of that material's here on site. So more of the exterior is going to happen, and then drywall will be next on the interior. But this will wrap up the weekly update. Deb, you got any parting words?
I don't. We're just happy to share our progress with you. We hope you continue to follow us along.
All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Take care out there.
Take care.